All right, gang, I am off to the cinema for a late matinee screening of Hell or High Water.
We're gonna need SWAT up here. Get back! These boys, they aren't done yet.
Now, I have to say something. I don't know anything about this film. I am going into Hell or High Water completely and utterly blind.
Did I stutter? I'm blind.
And sometimes that is exciting. I like going into films completely fresh without any preconceived notions really going in, and sometimes that makes for happy surprises. All I do know is this: it stars Chris Pine, Ben Foster, it's got Jeff Bridges. Oh, it's also from the writer of Sicario, if memory serves me correctly. Beyond that, I know nothing.
I'm blind.
I do know, though, that the film has been receiving some of the best reviews from critics of any late summer film from the season that was. And it finally is hitting cinemas here in Saskatoon. So I'm driving down to the theater. I'm going to meet my good friend of nearly 20 years, JD, to go and screen this movie. And both of us will be back with a review afterwards. Is Chris Pine the most frustratingly handsome actor in Hollywood?
Fascinating question.
I don't know if that's true, but Chris Pine is good. He's understated in this.
Look at me. How pretty am I? How many people like me for being pretty?
I am glad that you're here, JD. Again, this marks the third time that I've had an attorney at law on this film review channel, so thank you very much. When are you actually going to change your Twitter handle to Key Rock Fan for life?
Well, as soon as it becomes available.
As soon as it becomes available, okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how annoyed are you by the constant Key Rock references from me?
It's okay.
It's okay, all right. All right, gang, we just got out of Hell or High Water. Starring JD's very favorite actor of all time in Ben Foster.
Nobody got away with anything, ever.
Yes, I have to say I was skeptical about this movie because Ben Foster really annoys me. And so does Jeff Bridges now that he's decided to give up acting and just do this old man voice.
Oh my God. And this is why I have brought JD along with me for this new review.
Well, that's neat.
So of course I'm kidding. This movie doesn't just star Ben Foster. JD has this thing against Ben Foster, but
It's a big bank.
It's too big. That's what she said.
Hell or High Water. This is a late summer release that actually finally saw the light of day here in Saskatoon, and so basically it stars Ben Foster, the lovely and talented Ben Foster, but I mean obviously it also stars Chris Pine and Jeff Bridges, and it is from director David Mackenzie. And I didn't really know very much about David Mackenzie going in, but I realized that he directed this very little seen science fiction film with Ewan McGregor and Eva Green called Perfect Sense. It was a film that I did see. I thought it was decent but flawed. And as I was mentioning much earlier, this is from the writer of Sicario, the great Sicario.
Oh, I did not know that.
So that's a bonus. So let's sum this up in a nutshell. Like let everyone know what this movie is basically about, JD.
It's, well, the less you know about it, like these two brothers are robbing banks, and at the start you don't know why, and then their plan is kind of ingenious, but it's better to just find that out on your own as the movie.
But it's basically a small rural Texas, right? And these, when you mention these two brothers who, without giving anything away, they have legitimate motivations for why they want to rob these banks. I mean, almost to the point where you do sort of crazily empathize with them.
Yeah.
Those banks loaned the least they could so they could swipe your mama's land.
On the ground!
Paying them back with their own money.
Well, if that ain't Texan, I don't know what is.
Again, it's a hard film to really talk about because you don't really want to give away key plot particulars, but let's just say that their whole methodology and the manner with which they rob the banks and their overall plan, without saying much more, is fiendishly clever. even though they are sort of somewhat inept as bank robbers, and they do make a few categorical blunders, mostly because the one brother, who's played by Ben Foster. Ben Foster is kind of the loose cannon, crazy one of the two, and Chris Pine is sort of the much more reserved and low-key, doesn't want to draw attention to their activities.
I've been poor my whole life. It's like a disease, passing from generation to generation. But not my boys. Not anymore.
And then, of course, Jeff Bridges plays... was he a sheriff? He's not really a sheriff. He's like a Texas Ranger. I don't know why I didn't say Texas Ranger. He plays this Texas Ranger that basically he is approaching retirement. He's a character who has, like, was it a half Mexican, half Indian partner, and that's another part of the film that I really kind of liked, is they have this real odd couple relationship, and I think there's shared mutual animosity yet respect between the two, and I like the whole dynamic between them as well.
You hear about these bank robberies? You may get to have some fun before they send you off to the rocking chair yet.
I may have one hunt left in me.
I thought that the sort of the chemistry between like Pine and Foster was bang on. I thought they felt like a completely authentic brother dynamic. I thought that was really spot on.
It's a good thing you're done.
We're doing it.
Every step of the way.
I also like the fact too that the film feels authentic in its scope and feel. Like you really gain an impression of like the dilapidated nature of small town America, and how that sort of acts as this suffocating vice that makes these economically impoverished men want to commit these heinous crimes. So
You may be hearing a lot of things about me and your uncle.
Whatever I hear, I won't believe.
No, you believe it. I did all of it.
What did you think?
I liked it, despite Ben Foster, who at least isn't giving his patented Ben Foster overacting. He's got an entirely new overdoing it.
I think
Ben
it's...
Foster. And despite Jeff Bridges bringing his old man voice to a whole nother level, it still works as a movie.
What is your problem with the Jeff Bridges voice?
These boys know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to raise a certain amount, that's my guess.
Quite frankly, he felt like a grizzled, middle-aged, approaching retirement, semi-alcoholic, semi-racist Texas Ranger. I like what didn't you like about his performance?
We've seen good Jeff Bridges performances.
Many.
The Fabulous Baker Boys, the Big Lebowski, Starman. So we know what Jeff Bridges is like.
So he
was in True Grit. He does his voice for True Grit and falls in love with it and does his voice in every movie, whether the character calls for it or not. It's like if Harrison Ford wanted to do the Branch Rickey voice from 42 in Star Wars in Age of Adeline. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It means someday you're going to meet God, and when he inquires as why you didn't take the field against Robinson in Philadelphia, and you answer that it's because he was a Negro, it may not be a sufficient reply.
So what you're trying to say is Jeff Bridges is, man, it's hard to say that plural, that his Texas Ranger should have sounded exactly like the extraterrestrial from Starman.
Yes.
Okay.
I watched you very carefully. Red light, stop. Green light, go. Yellow light, go. Very fast.
I think
fair
we need
point.
to get an intervention for Jeff and say, okay, enough with this.
I think you're engaging in some a humorous hyperbole with your criticisms. I thought Jeff Bridges was really superb in the film. I mean, it sounded like Rooster Cogburn meets The Dude a lot, with a lot of like slurring of lines and so forth. And he actually sounded conspicuously like the same character he played, a similar character he played in the criminally awful R.I.P.D. Let's not even think about that movie, because that movie was a piece of junk.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
I think you're a little hard on the Bridges. And you got to admit, he does occupy a lot of moments in this film that just feel so dramatically genuine. I mean, this movie has one of the best final scenes, I think, in a long time. And it's not a film that builds towards like, perfunctory action sequence or shootout, although the third act does involve a shootout and a protracted one, but it ends on this really quiet moment between let's say two characters that really sort of absconds away from like genre conventions and cliches, and it ends on sort of a melancholic yet I think powerful moment between two characters. What do you think?
Yeah.
I think the whole film is very melancholic to its core. Like, it's a very sort of quietly rendered, sort of yet evocatively rendered film that really taps into like these characters, their inner demons and their dilemmas. And I mean, it's one of the rare films about bank robbers where you don't really see them, well, at least one of them, you don't really see them as vile and deplorable criminals. You see them as men at their complete economic and financial wits end, that are willing to do anything to basically support their families' livelihoods. And I think that's why I really admired the film. It's really, considering the summer that was, you know, we've had so many like stale sequels and reboots and forgettable blockbuster tentpole films. This film sort of comes in on a whisper, but sort of ends the summer film season with a kind of a lion's roar, because I thought it was really good. Do you concur?
I agree.
Well, that's neat.
Is underrated in this. People don't like Chris Pine for some reason, but he was good.
I think this is Chris Pine's best film work that he's ever done.
Yeah, I dug that performance. I thought that was really good.
I think he was just like, he was in the zone. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't ostentatious. He is frustratingly handsome, even when he's sweaty and dirty. And I say frustrating because I know I will never achieve that level of handsomeness. And so that's why, shame on you, Chris Pine, for being frustratingly handsome. And I tell you, I wouldn't kick him out of my theater seat next to me for eating popcorn.
Well, listen. This review got awkward.
It did get awkward. So
this is awkward.
So great performances, fairly ingenious scripting. It almost felt Cormac McCarthy-like. Would you agree, in a way?
Not that I'm an expert on Cormac McCarthy.
Well,
it was like,
you know what I mean.
It had a No Country for
It had a very
Men
No Country for Old Men vibe. But yeah, I really enjoyed the movie a lot. I think it is a breath of fresh air, again, considering the summer of mostly misfires that we've had. So, all right, thanks for joining me, JD, on this review. Thank you very much for watching. If you could like this video, we would really appreciate it. Also, if you could subscribe to my channel, that would also mean the absolute world to me. I will continue to love the Jeff Bridges cranked up to 16 voice.
And I can't wait till Big Lebowski 2, where he breaks out this voice, even though the dude would never have it.
You know, that's just like your opinion, man.
Anyway, thank you very much for watching this review, and let me know in the comments what you think of this film. Let me know what some of your favorite Ben Foster, Jeff Bridges, and or Chris Pine performances and films are. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you at the movies, everybody.
I watched you very carefully.